How often was Derek yelled at by Michael?
What was that?
How often was Derek yelled at by Michael?
How often was what? Derek?
How often was Derek what?
Yelled at by Michael.
Yelled at by Michael.
0.
Nobody wasn't yelling.
He's not yelling. It was great.
It was setting straight.
He set the tone, you know. It was like, yeah.
It was, you need to take this seriously, otherwise you will also be fired, basically. And I wasn't there for that because I was a replacement, but I got the phone call separately, which was basically like, I think it was something along the lines of, I need you to be able to do this baby oil scene, not like the other girl who was fired, but don't be cheesy. And then I think he raised his voice, he goes, listen to me, don't be cheesy. And I'm like, okay. And it was like on the cell phone, which would be really cool if he could have figured out how to like blow the cell phone up after.
Right. Dismiss it.
That's what that was. One thing that was really cool about the show was because Michael's involvement. Michael was prepping for, from what I heard, was prepping for Transformers 2 at the time. Mm-hmm. But everything, even if he wasn't on set, everything had to go through Michael. He had video conferences with Platinum Dunes every day to make sure that everything was right and exactly how he wanted it to be done. And it was really cool because I applaud him to be able to do multitask, to do one film and another film at the same time, and I would lose my mind just doing one. So that was really
I was on set with him for a bit for Transformers 2, and for about 10 days I got to experience that, and I got to watch a lot of things blow up, and that was fun. But he's a man with hundreds of millions of dollars on his, riding on it. So yeah, you don't want to be. I was in the shot once when they were doing like a helicopter thing with the Transformers. That was not a good day for me. So I was like just farting around, staring around. It's like get up, the shot. I'm like, oh.
I can't imagine the pressure. I don't. It's like going to Vegas and like putting like $100,000 on a table, like pulling a lever. Like, I hope this works out.
I know. Imagine the kind of pressure you'd have. I'd be
Believable.
crazy.
Let's stop talking about Michael. Let's move on.
Yes.
What was the dangerous stunt? You guys didn't go into.
Oh yeah, the dangerous. There was no dangerous stunt. You're saying?
I think. Well, for me, I didn't have when I was flown out to do the most dangerous stuff that I needed to do, there was no stunt double for me. And I'm not a stunt professional, but I've done a few stunts before, thankfully. So but I'm also a goer person, so if somebody says, do you mind if we set you on fire? If no one's around to stop me, I'll probably be like, okay, are you sure it's not gonna hurt me? But they asked me to do the falling out of the sleeping bag thing, and that's on hard ground, and it's dirt, and you have to keep your eyes open and smoke a cigarette, which I don't smoke, and you exhale, and you have to land in a perfect position. And if you wanted me to come, Marcus was like wanting me to come slowly off of this little platform and then fall down, and it's tons of times, and you're falling and falling and falling. And that hurts, and especially when they don't use that at all later, that even hurts more when they cut it completely out of the film, and you're in the chiropractor's office still trying to get your L4 and L5 like worked out. And then also with thankfully Derek is a professional stunt man, and anytime he had to do anything that involved working with us, he did all of his own stuff except for one arm moment.
One day, the arm.
One day when he was getting married. That someone else was his arm hand model for him. He did everything on his own, and there was a day when I was flown back in to redo my snatch and grab when he comes in, that picture of his shadow, the silhouette, and then he rips open with the machete the tent and grabs me. And that was not a scored tent. We had no rehearsal. The light was coming up because we were doing night shoots, and we didn't have time to get this wrong and then to reset the whole tent stuff and everything. So there was this one time you have all of these like execs from New Line and wherever, Paramount, and just sitting around in Video Village, and they're like, you have to get this right. So the terror that was going through my mind is we had no rehearsal. I might be chopped up by a machete, or I'll be like yelled at by these big executives, and so I was really terrified. That was not acting.
For me, I think I have two. They're kind of lame, I guess, but I mean, I don't swim well, so there's a hot tub scene where I'm supposed to be like floating dead, but I can't float. And so I kept, sinking down, so I had to kind of cheat. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of had my both feet propped up on like the seats in the jacuzzi on the backside, and then one hand propped up this way, and I could just kind of float this way. The next one was when I'm running from you, and he throws the axe. There's a little bit of an incline, And they'd clear this pathway, you know, you're running this way, Arlen, everything's gonna be cool. You just take off, run. We'll tell you when to, like, you know, fall, and then you fall out of frame. Great. So I'm doing that a couple times, and everything's good. And the one time I decide to go all out, I'm gonna run as fast as I can and make this seem as real as possible. My heart rate is racing, and there's a nice piece of rock that's like hidden in the mud, like in the hill. And it looked like just a little rock, you know? But what I didn't realize behind it is this huge boulder that they didn't dig out all the way. And I run, and rather than like tripping myself on purpose, my foot lands right on it. And I think it split my shoelace, like on the shoes that I had from filming, and my whole foot was just throbbing the whole time. By the time I got home, my sock was soaked in blood. Like, it was really, really nasty, but you know. Wow. Thanks a lot, Derek.
Sorry, man, I didn't know about that. I'll buy you dinner.
Sorry to put that rock there.
Sorry. Mine was, I learned a valuable lesson. I learned when I had the undermask on, for the reveal you barely saw in the film, you see it more on the DVD, the makeup underneath, the Jason's reveal where the teeth kind of fall over the side. I learned that when you intake water, that you have to expel that water, that you have to be able to purse your lips together, and if your lips can't touch, you can't get that water out. So when I would do some of the water scenes at the very end where it's like a few seconds, I shot all night the night before. I got 3 hours of sleep, turned around to go shoot the water scene where I had the chain, the actual chain, the bear trap on me, with the prosthetics, with the full winter gear on. When you're in the water and the water's freezing cold, you start to sink down, and for the shot, of course, thank God we have safety divers on the side, and they give you, you try to hold your breath as much as you can, and you just close your eyes and you're sinking into blackness. And then you go, okay, I can't hold it anymore. You start to swim and try to come back up. It was at that point when I realized I'm gonna go up. And your body doesn't go up, and your body keeps sinking. And I'm like, I'm a good swimmer, I can swim. The chain gets locked on my shoulder. I'm like, I can't, oh, this is a bad idea. And then you're sinking down and your air is leaving. And then I honestly thought to myself, this is gonna make a great newspaper headline. Guy who plays Jason actually dies in lake. But the safety divers came in and they dragged me up each take, but when I get to the top, you're trying to expel the water, and you're like, sip a mouthful of water, and you're still coughing, so you kind of rip the teeth out and spit it out. I'm like, you're sitting there coughing and just choking. Marcus, Derek, are you okay? Are you okay? No, I'm not. It was but it was pretty crazy.
We have time for one more question. Anyway, right here.
Oh boy, if I wasn't acting,
Modeling.
that too. I'd probably work in a pet store. I love spiders. I love bugs. I don't know. I mean, it's true. It's true. Or maybe like, I'd want to be a cartoon. If I could be a real, like if cartoons were real people, I'd want to be a real cartoon. I know that sounds retarded, but I really would. That's an honest answer.
He is so sensitive. We were at a Mexican restaurant while we were shooting it one time. I went to use the restroom. I came back, and I was like, oh man, there's this giant grasshopper in the urinal. And he goes, dude, that thing's huge. It's so awesome.
It's true.
It's true. It's awesome.
I have a lot of hobbies. You like video games and tennis shoes.
Yep.
Basketball.
Yep. Video games, tennis
You got some
shoes.
skills at basketball, man.
I'm all right.
The whole cast had skills, and I'm like the tallest guy, and I would sit in the corner like, yeah, terrible. I like kicking things and fighting. You guys were awesome.
All right, thanks, America, Arlen, Derek. Thanks everybody for coming to the panel.
Guys, thank you very much for coming out.